I know that. I see that so clearly, right? But I gotta develop my roots first. I gotta develop something to stand on, something to sustain me when the wind blows. I have to know my passion, like my why in it all, right? So that when winter comes and all my leaves fall off, I'm not looking crazy. I'm still standing 10 toes down on what it is that I'm supposed to do. Hey, y'all, and welcome to Let's Talk Sis. I'm Shekinah, your host, and as we spend time together, I can promise you three things. I'll be honest, I'll make you laugh, and I won't hold back. Let's Talk Sis is your essential girl talk destination where you'll hear about life from the perspective of a Black woman in America, as our stories often go untold. I can assure you, while honest, we are a community for growth and love. Remember to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. Now sit back, relax, and let's talk, sis. Hello. Welcome back, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Talk Sis podcast. Okay, this is a podcast all about protecting, standing up for, providing platforms to Black women, okay? Specifically, Black women who are deeply emotional, have not felt seen, heard, or valued. We got room for you here, okay? I am your host, Shekinah, and this is absolutely one of my favorite places to be, and I'm so excited that you all decided to join me. Now, if you do not identify as a Black woman, that's okay. You can come on in the room as long as you are committed to supporting us and our stories, okay? So if you don't know or you're new, this is a community. This conversation is between me, you, and the sisterhood. So I do want to hear from you. All right. If you have a timeline topic, a Let's Talk topic that you want discussed, please be sure to email me at the Let's Talk Sis pod at gmail.com and we will get into the things. All right. Now, Let's Talk Sis is all about promoting authenticity in conversation, right? We want to heal, grow, and inspire our audience. So if you love what we're doing here, you can help keep the conversation going by supporting Let's Talk Sis and buy me a coffee. All right. Your contributions, they go to help support the team, grow our team, improve our content, keep the mission moving forward. So you can tap the link in the show notes, or you can visit buymeacoffee.com/Let's Talk Sis and show your love. All right. Every little bit of support really makes a difference here. All right. All right, we got the church announcements out the way. Now let's get in. Sorry. We got the church announcements out the way. Now let's get into the podcast. All right. All right, y'all. Let me pull up our timeline topic for the week. All right. This is where we discuss media and current events. So, I was scrolling through my timeline and I seen Tisha Campbell on Angie Martinez's IRL podcast. Okay. All right, y'all. Here we go.
I was in this business since I was 3 years old. So I went straight from a momager and then being my manager into a marriage. When I had to start over, it was scary. But I kept visualizing. You know what I kept visualizing?
What?
You know how a baby, when they're first learning how to walk, they get up on their feet and they kind of teeter and they do this little wobble.
Yeah.
If you look at their faces, there's this excitement, this thrill. They know they're about to fall, but they embrace the fall and then they get right back up. I think sometimes when we're adults, we forget to enjoy and embrace the fall. That everything could look like, it feels devastating, but it's more like a beautiful devastation. Change the narrative, sis. Don't be the victim. Don't tell the story over and over again. Make new stories.
What is the narrative now?
Do everything you want to do that you've ever wanted to do in your life. Put yourself first, Tisha. Put yourself first. And Angie, and everybody else will fall into place. If you're okay, then they'll be okay. But if you're not okay, how the hell you gonna get it in? So that's where I am right now.
Damn, Gina.
Damn, Gina. Okay, if she did not get us together with that. So I really resonated with a few things and appreciated, hearing that. One of the reasons I started Let's Talk Sis is because I personally value advice and experience and suggestion of older counsel. I very much believe in the power of conversation, okay, in talking, in sharing your experience, and how helpful and transformative and impactful that can be for other people. And so hearing her say, yeah, I had to start over, I had to get back out here, I had to dust myself off, pick myself up, and embrace this new season of life, this new phase of life, and not only embrace it, but embrace it with this childlike wonder, is really a necessary little nugget that I need to keep in my pocket, right? I think for me, being an overachiever all my life, being someone who's able to do things quickly, being someone accomplished, you don't want to fail. Failure is like never an option. Failure is like never considered a good thing. It's never considered an opportunity. But what I hear her saying is, no, you don't go into things expecting to fail, planning to fail without, effort so that you just do fail. But you embrace the fall. If something doesn't work, you are open and excited about exploring what's not working. On the way down, you're and you laugh and just like a baby. Obviously, we're not hurting themselves, but like, there's this wonderment, there's this curiosity, there's this genuine joy that comes from getting back up and trying it again. Right. So I just really appreciated hearing her say that. And she too is accomplished and has been in her industry, for years and years at the top of the game. We all know Tisha Campbell. We all know Gina, right? And it's because she's excellent at what she does. So it's not as if she doesn't have the skill sets to accomplish the things, but some little voice, some little something in her head, our heads, makes us afraid, makes us have a disdain towards the possibility of things not going right. We think that says something about who we are as opposed to what we've done. And so I just think it's very powerful when we can, like she said, change the narrative, reframe. Something else we were speaking about in my life coaching program, my life coaching certification process, is one of the outcomes and objectives that I want people to understand is the power of reframing, the power of looking at a situation and really assessing it to say, all right, this is what I'm thinking, this is the truth, and now this is what I'm going to take from that, right? Taking that equation and making the answer work best and be the most affirming toward yourself, right? So sometimes, like I said, sometimes you do fail. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but the reframe says, well, that didn't work, and now I have another chance to do it again. Right? That didn't work, but I'm that much more educated now going into it the next time. I wasn't successful in it, but boy, did I have a good time doing it. Or I met so many friends, or I built this community, right? There is a power we have to reframe our circumstances to affirm who we are, what we're going to be, and what we're called to do. So shout out to you, Miss Tisha, for saying that. Let's see what some of these comments say. That's a word right there. I do my best to embrace the fall. I don't know that I do it in real time, but I eventually am getting there. Absolutely. Amazing advice. Being able to reframe is such a powerful skill. It can help us to stay centered and grounded when everything feels overwhelming. There's a lesson in every experience or skills that we gain that we'll need for later in life. 100%. So drop in the comments and let me know, some opportunities that you have had to reframe certain situations in your life. I would love to hear about that. Okay. All right, y'all. So with that being said, before we move into our Let's Talk topic of the week, Jada, go ahead and drop the promo for Found Her Future. Listen, y'all, we are still looking for members to join our collectives. Applications run year round. So if you are out there and you are someone who is looking to align your purpose, your design with your projects, go ahead and check out Found Her Future. This is an awesome opportunity for you. Insert video here. All right. So with that being said, let's move into our Let's Talk topic of the week. All right. This segment is designed for us to go deeper, have tough conversations, and find the tools that we need. Okay. So this week we are going to be talking about the seed stage. All right. The seed stage. Now, this was something important for me to talk about because I believe I am in that stage right now. All right. And it is very challenging. I think all stages in life, come with their own challenges. I think some stages make those challenges seem smaller. Right? It's like that whole thing. Would you rather cry in a Rolls Royce or in a Honda? Like either way you crying, but I would much rather cry in a Rolls Royce if you catch my drift. So the seed stage, is this stage where we don't see anything, right? When you plant a seed, once it's in that dirt and you press it down and put the little dirt over it and water, you don't see anything. You don't see a damn thing happening. There is this faith, right? There is this reliance on pattern. There is this assumption that we have that seed is going to take hold of what it was naturally called to do and grow roots and produce a plant, right? And I think we have to have that same faith, those same assumptions, and those same reliance on patterns when we are planting seeds within ourselves, when we are in our own seed stage, right? When now I am starting at 30 a career as a public and professional speaker. I don't see no real that's not a right thing. When I first started this, I didn't see any growth of it. I didn't see an uptick in followers. I didn't really see an uptick in comments, likes, engagement, etc. I'm going live. Ain't nobody in my live room. I'm posting episodes and, one person, maybe two people is seeing it. So there's not much growth. Also, though, those things that I'm looking for, that is the external growth. That is the flower, if you will, of the seed. Increased followers, increased engagement, contracts, brand deals, sponsorships. That's then the fruit. The seed, the roots, the part that is going to sustain this plant, this tree that I'm growing, that's the personal growth. That is the commitment. That is the dedication. That is the motivation. That is the figuring out of the systems. That is the development of infrastructure. Those are the roots that are currently growing that feels like I don't really see anything of it. But I can tell you today, in comparison to where I was last year, I'm much more committed. I'm way more motivated. I am way better at production and producing episodes. I have honed in on my craft much better, much in a much more improved manner than I was last year. And I'm not done yet, right? I have become clearer on my goals. I have become more intentional about where I'm spending my time. And those are things that you do not see an outward expression of. Those are not things that translate, that manifest into anything really physical, tangible that you can show, right? Those are just internal roots. Those are the things that when I get, this sponsorship, when I get this brand deal, I now have a system in place to execute on the things that these companies are asking me for, right? When I have opportunities, I can now filter and discern which one is best for me, which opportunity actually aligns with my brand and the things that I want to do, and I can make a better, more informed decision down the line because I have these roots. And so I wanted to just encourage anybody out there who finds themselves in a similar predicament as me, because it is very discouraging when we see so clearly in our minds where this thing is going, what our tree should look like, what the plant, should look like. I very much know that I want to have Let's Talk Sis retreats and gatherings, and I want to have live events and curate these communal spaces for us. I know that. I see that so clearly, right? But I gotta develop my roots first. I gotta develop something to stand on, something to sustain me when the wind blows. I have to know my passion, like my why in it all, right? So that when winter comes and all my leaves fall off, I'm not looking crazy. I'm still standing 10 toes down on what it is that I'm supposed to do and what it is that I'm doing, right? So a few other examples of what growth can look like is changes in your mindset. Like I kind of already went over these, but changes in your mindset, a certain level of discipline that you're developing, right? A stronger faith. You become more emotionally mature. Things don't knock you off your square as easy. Especially for me, like this is me for sure. I've said this before. I'm an emotional being. I move with my feelings. I move with my mood. I do things because I feel or I don't feel like it. Well, emotional maturity says we recognize your feelings, we honor them, we respect them, and they are valid. But they're telling us something, that they're signaling us something. They are not our deciding factors. That's emotional maturity. Right? Emotional maturity is, I might feel like I'm going to be judged for saying this thing, for doing this thing, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know that's what I've been called to do. I know that's what God has told me to do. That's what I'm passionate about, period. So there's these internal developments that you see that help us develop roots. And when we're in this seed stage, when something's being planted and we don't have a clear visual, of clear, tangible manifestation of what we are planting. Okay. So let's see what these comments say. The seed stage can often feel like nothing is happening because it's all happening out of eyesight. Yes, the seed stage is the important foundation to support the growth. The plant can't do anything without the foundation. Retreats sound amazing. Absolutely. You talking good with this analogy, sis. Hey, I'm trying here. Okay. We like to give top tier content. Okay, so again, having those strong roots really help you stay grounded in challenges, help you to succeed, handle your success without losing yourself, and continue growing even in the hard seasons, right? Certain plants, they grow in the winter time. Well, the Bible says be like a fig tree. And from what I have determined, and I don't have the scriptures right now, I heard somebody else say this, but the reason it's saying a fig tree is because of its resilience. Fig trees grow in tough conditions, dry, hot, cold, wet, rocky. They grow in all of those conditions because that root work is going crazy. Okay. So the next thing I want to say is, just like plants, people respond to their environments, right? So sometimes we can see that we've planted a seed and the roots aren't even growing. Right? They're not literally, actually, in fact, nothing is happening. Not that we just can't see what's happening, but nothing is happening. These things die. They don't ever really come to fruition. So that tells us that we need to change our environment, right? Most times people don't look at it. There are some cases, and follow my analogy, right, where the seed itself is dormant. And that's another word for another day. But most times when we plant a seed, we can pretty reasonably expect that it will grow if it is in the right environment. So this idea, this concept, this new project that you're working on, sometimes we quit on it too soon. This relationship that you've entered, right? Sometimes we quit on it too soon without ever considering the environmental factors that are hindering its growth, right? What are the people I'm around? Who am I listening to? Who's in my sphere of influence? What kind of conversations am I having? Where am I spending my time, my energy, my effort? I have talked more about content creation, media, and being a speaker in this past year than I ever have in my entire life. Why? Because I've changed my environment. I've put myself in spaces with people who align with those goals. So where I can have conversations about creating content, where I can have conversations about editing, production, podcasting, media, speaking engagements, right? That's all I'm talking about. Those are all the people that I am surrounded by, because those are the people, those are the environments that are going to grow my plant, right? They're going to water me. They're going to pick up a weed that's trying to encroach on what I have going on. Right? They're going to encourage and cultivate the growth of that plant. But if I'm constantly speaking about maybe I should get a job and what's government assistance got going on and dang, how they get all their followers and I'll get to podcasting later. Like, I'm not surrounding myself, infiltrating myself, changing my environment to help cultivate the seed, to help grow the plant. We got to put the plant in the best environment for it to grow. And people are no different. You got to look at your environment and determine, is this something that is actually going to improve, enhance, my goals, the things that I'm working for. And then lastly, we spoke about this before. We, me, you, I have to be patient. It takes as long as it takes. That phrase grinds my gears, right? It like I'm getting hot internally right now, but it's the truth. It takes as long as it takes. There's not any magic wand we can wave. There's not a certain timeline that we have to be on. There isn't a definite date by, right? If we do these things, it'll happen. We just have to be patient. We have to show up to the mat. We have to put our best foot forward. We got to stop self-sabotaging. We got to just do it. We got to be intentional, right? All the things we've been talking about. And it takes as long as it takes. You see this look on my face? This is me trying to be happy. Okay. And these are things we need constant reminders of. That is why that environment is so important, right? So you can have somebody else tell you, hey girl, just keep showing up. It'll happen. Just keep going. You got it, right? Keep trying, keep failing and getting back up. Keep embracing the falls and doing the things and this and that, and it'll happen for you. Okay. Um, let's see what we got. Oh, you talking good. The environment is usually the issue. Got to have the right conditions to grow. And sometimes we outgrow our environment or growth gets stunted. Now that is 100% true, right? Sometimes we think, well, I just, retooled everything, right? I just got in this new space. I just met these people. I've already changed my environment. Well, gotta change it again, right? We gotta continue to grow. Yes, you've developed some loyalties. Yes, you've developed, some accountability groups and some check-ins, et cetera, etc. But we gotta continue to grow. We can't allow those things to stunt our growth, to be the reason that we don't succeed and get the things done. Okay. This says, cause I low key want to know when. Okay. Me too, girl. Put it on the calendar. When is this gonna happen? when do the lemons and the fruit and the grapes don't grow on trees, and the apples and the bananas start to fall? When is that time? Okay, that's put that on the calendar. That's what your girl want to know. So to close us out today, I just want to give us a couple examples and reminders of some successful Black women that we know that may be considered to be a late bloomer. All right. So Miss Viola Davis, How to Get Away with Murder. She worked as an actress for years, okay, before gaining her mainstream recognition, and she became the first Black actor to achieve an EGOT, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony, the triple crown of acting. Okay. Next, Octavia Spencer. She worked behind the scenes, often a lot of times before her major breakthrough role of The Help in her 40s. Ava DuVernay. She didn't start directing films until her 30s and became one of the most respected directors in Hollywood. And last but not least, Miss Tabitha Brown. We all know her story of working many jobs and struggling financially before she reached her viral moment of success on social media in her 40s and has taken off ever since. Okay. The key takeaway is that success doesn't always come early. All right. Sometimes the delay is preparation. Sometimes the delay are your roots growing, your roots spreading out and creating this big, huge foundation for your tree to grow. All right. And just with that analogy alone, just imagine the roots of a tree versus the roots of a dandelion, right? Much larger, much more expansive, way more vast. And then think of the weight that a tree can carry versus that of a dandelion. Think of the fruit that a tree can produce versus that of a dandelion. So if you ask me, go ahead, give it the time to spread those roots out. Let your foundation become great so that you can have this strong, sturdy, bountiful tree to produce fruit for you in your life. Okay. So your conversation challenge for the week. What y'all got to do? It's your homework. I want you to ask your community and yourself, what if you're in the seed stage right now, if you're in the root building stage in this season of your life? And if so, what do those roots look like? What roots are you growing? What evidence, right, do you have that seed you planted, it's actually activated? It's actually doing some things. It may not be the fruit that you want, but what do your roots look like? Okay. That's what I want to know. Leave me a comment, have this conversation with your friends, your family, and let me know what y'all come up with, okay? So if you want to connect more with Let's Talk Sis, you can find us on Facebook. Just search for the Let's Talk Sis podcast. You'll find us there, okay? You'll get journal prompts every Tuesday. Also, you'll have some fun episode clips and special announcements. We are also down to the TikTok and Instagram at Let's Talk Sis.podcast. So please be sure to follow us so that you can engage and stay a part of the community. And last but not least, if you have not already liked this episode, please do so, and also be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button. That way you can see whenever we post new episodes on the channel. All right, that's all I got, y'all. I ain't got no more. I hope this was helpful, and if it was not, you were not listening. Okay, I'm pretty sure you weren't listening, so just hit rewind, play it again, take some notes. All right. All right, y'all. I love you. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.